Sportageous. Sport gets smarter.
Welcome to the Sportageous Videocast, everyone. Today is a very special episode, and joining us as a guest today is Maheen Qureshi, who's a tennis professional from Pakistan, and she's represented the country in many various ITF events. ITF stands for International Tennis Federation. So I guess we'll just pass the mic on to Maheen, and it's a pleasure talking to you, Maheen. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you? Everything's good, and I'm really excited for this today.
Likewise, very, very excited for this episode because I know we've been rescheduling for a while. So,
Oh,
so,
yes.
so I'm very excited that it's finally happening. Anyway, yeah. So let's kick off the conversation. So I guess we'll just ask you, like, how did Mahin Qureshi basically get into tennis? Where did it all start, and how did it all happen? Was it a family sport, or how did it all happen? Yeah, over to you.
Yeah. So basically, my dad, he's in the Pakistan Air Force. My dad used to get, posted to various cities of Pakistan. So I was around 8 years old when we were in Multan, a city of Pakistan. And over there, so basically, my dad introduced me to this sport. And my family, my dad's side is like a lot into sports. My dada, like my dad's father, he used to play hockey, and my dad was like on the verge of playing Test cricket for Pakistan. But
Wow.
then, being in Air Force, he couldn't do it. So he wanted his children to play any professional sport. So basically introduced me and my older sister to tennis. And he used to show us different sports. And me and my sister, we used to like tennis more. And my dad also preferred it because it was an individual sport, and he thought it's better, like being in a city, like in a country like Pakistan. So he said, like, it's better to play some individual sport, and tennis was like the best option, and we really liked it. So that's how it just came in us, and we started, like, and from there we started. And then my dad took me to Barcelona Tennis Academy in Spain for the first time when I was around 8.5 years old, like 9. And we used to train there like every year for in summers. We used to go there in summers at that time because we were studying, so we were still very young. And just that's how we just started it, and now it's like we're playing professionally.
Wow, that's quite a story. And so coming to tennis as well, like looking back to when you actually started, do you think or do you feel that you could have picked a different sport?
Actually, no. I think I was made for tennis. Tennis is like, I think that this is one sport which is very graceful as well. And it's this sport. I think it's very different to other sports. This is what I feel, and personally, this is the sport which I think I'm really glad I chose this, and I don't want to have any other options with any other sports. This is just tennis. I really love this sport.
Right, and it's a great choice too. So just with tennis, like there's obviously tennis in Pakistan is identified as an elite sport played by elite people at the elite class. So do you think that's true, or is it now opening up to a lot of the middle class people as well?
So basically, in Pakistan, as we know, sports is not so popular in people other than cricket. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, this is a sports. This is a cricket-loving nation, and here, being a tennis player or a swimmer or any other sport, it's very different, and it's very hard as well. Like, you don't get that much sport here.
Hmm.
Being in any sport other than cricket. So. Like, there are very less even players here. Usually people here, like in tennis in Pakistan, they're usually from middle class backgrounds, usually people here, like in men's as well. And elite class, I don't know if they prefer sports so much here, but they I think from basically in Pakistan, players are usually from the middle class, backgrounds. Usually in Pakistan, it's like this. And in tennis and in other sports other than cricket, there are very less people interested in other sports other than cricket in Pakistan. So tennis is, I think, hardly like, if you count people in women especially, hardly there are like 20 girls, 30 girls playing,
Mm.
not
Yeah.
more than this.
Wow. Yeah. And just about the women's sport as well. So you mentioned 20 or 30. So how do you feel that in all the years behind you, has the landscape of tennis, especially for women, has it improved?
uh Basically here there's no infrastructure in
Mm.
Pakistan for tennis. You can say there's nothing like that, and I don't think it's improving, because since I'm playing, it's almost 9 years now, like 8 years, 8.5 years. I'm playing, and I don't see anybody upcoming. Like after me, maybe, I don't know. I don't see any girl, upcoming as a tennis player. And my dad, seeing all this and all the infrastructure in Pakistan, he preferred me playing abroad rather than in Pakistan, because the infrastructure here, the coaching here, or even the sport here, this is a very expensive sport, and you need a lot of sponsorship, and a bag for this, traveling and expenses. It's not easy. But thankfully, like my dad does it for me, but we still, you require a lot of support from different, big multinational companies or anybody, like my dad sends me to Barcelona every year. So basically now my base station for tennis, for training and everything, is in Barcelona. Over there, I train in an academy, Barcelona Tennis Academy, and they're all the professional coaches there. My coaches there, they're all like from Switzerland, they're from France, and they're all like great coaches. And you know, so in Pakistan, it's not possible to have that kind of training and then play at professional level. So this is the reason, like my dad sends me out. So I don't think for now in Pakistan, it's not easy. It's not possible to play professional being in Pakistan.
Hmm. And where do you feel the improvements can be made? Is it at the government level, or is it the private sector coming forward for more support? What can be done actually?
I think the awareness needs to develop like at the school level first. You
Hmm.
see in our schools, I don't think there's a lot of culture for sports, and if it is, it's just one sport. Like people, like kids prefer playing cricket more, football, like just like that in schools. But the racket sports, I think they need to be more in schools. They need to make good tennis courts, or I don't know, squash courts maybe, or even swimming. Swimming is a very good sport as well. These sports change you entirely. Like it's just not your, it changes you internally as well. I feel mentally and everything. So they need to be at the school level first, and obviously then at the provincial level, they need to, they need to support the players a lot, even financially. I mean, if you wanna, these sports are really expensive, and not many people can't afford it.
Hmm.
You can say, even if somebody wants to come up with it and has a good talent, but then they need money for it. And unfortunately, in Pakistan, this lacks. The support for this financial support, the government needs to support as well.
Hmm.
It won't work like this. It's not easy. My dad can do it for me, but there's a limit. When you have to travel like every month, it's not easy. When you have other siblings as well with you. So this is like, I think these are the improvements, like in your schools, and then the government needs to support a lot.
Hmm. So very interesting comment, because I've lived 6 years in Pakistan, by the way, as well. So
Oh,
middle class and upwards, most of them go to obviously private schools. So why
yeah.
aren't private schools introducing this thing into their curriculum? Why is it being ignored? Because obviously the state government can only do it to the level of state schools. So why isn't it being done at the private level?
I feel usually, in private schools,
Hmm.
they have extracurricular activities, but they're not. I don't feel they're healthy activities, which they prefer. They have sports days just like once a year. You see, once a year they'll have some sports day or something, but they would prefer, uh, things other than other extracurricular. They will include anything, like, paintings or, modeling, and I don't know. They have some, events that come up, Ryman and something like that, but they don't include sports. They include, I think it's even because people here or the students here, they don't enjoy, being in any sports. They prefer other things other than sports. So I think this is the mindset as well. People in Pakistan, the students in Pakistan, they have a different mindset.
Hmm.
I feel majority have this, like, other than they prefer doing things which are other than sports, because sports require a lot of stamina. That this requires a lot of, commitment to it. So I think, this lacks in students as well. I feel
Hmm. But then
they
on the
prefer easy goal, easy life, easy, everything easy. They don't have to run, they don't have to, I feel this is maybe this. If even if they have some sports, even if they have like once a year in my school, I can say, but the amount of participations, I think they're really less. If they have something else, I think it's more than sports. If then, if they have any other, activity going on, there's going to be more participations other than, but not in sports. So I don't know, maybe it's, something with the mindset as well.
Hmm. But then on the other hand, you also see cricket fanatics, as you mentioned, it's a cricket crazy nation, and then you see
Oh yeah.
people playing on the streets. So I guess there are deeper factors than just not playing sport as a cultural as a cultural nation. Like it's I don't think it's embedded in the culture. I personally believe like I think there are more deeper, far-fetching factors into not picking up tennis. But why why hasn't any other sport, do you think, it's not succeeding? Because I know in Australia you've got these community courts and I can go play tennis anywhere I like for free. I just need some guys
Yeah.
and I need a racket and that's all. And I can buy a cheaper racket. I don't really need to buy a
Yeah.
Wilson racket, a expensive
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
why isn't government building public spaces? Is it the lack of, again I think it has to come from the people as well, don't you think? Like the interest arises from people, and you're saying that middle class is now picking up tennis. So why, again, the question comes back, and I guess Imran Khan as a sports prime minister you'd expect. And I was talking to Mahbub Khan few months back, and he told, and Sarah
Okay.
Mahbub as well, and they told me the same thing. And they're like, as a sports prime minister, we were expecting more to happen. So was it the same
Yeah.
at your end as well? And why hasn't something happened yet?
Definitely, yes. I was obviously. I think whoever supported Imran Khan, was expecting a lot more than what's happening at the moment. But then you need to give him, some space as well. Like what our country is at the moment, in what crisis. I don't think it's possible for him to, look after sports at the moment. I think the country is, is like, it needs to, the economy is falling badly and everything is like in shambles at the moment. So I think it's not his fault at the moment. He needs to see the other more important things in the country at the moment. So I feel he's going to do it, but nothing's going to change in a year or two time. It's going to take at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Even it can take 10 years, because it's like since this Pakistan was made, since then everything has been like this. So it's not going to go like this, like a year or two. Imran Khan needs to stay, and then once the country gets better, I think then he's going to focus more on sports. I know, I was expecting the same thing, but I still understand. It's not easy for him as well. I mean,
Hmm.
I know, like, it's going to take some time. uh, we can say this, yeah, obviously the government needs to help a lot, but then you need to see as well, how Pakistan is at the moment. So, but I'm really looking forward. I hope everything's going to get better with time.
Sure, and obviously there are more challenges with the pandemic happening at the time as well.
Exactly.
And how do you feel it has affected sports in general as well as tennis in particular in Pakistan?
A lot, actually.
Yeah.
It is, one thing that in people in Pakistan, like the government has made some SOPs, and if they would have been followed, like, when in the beginning of this pandemic and everything, I don't think the situation would have been here at the like it is now, if everything was to be followed, since the start. But now the situation here has gotten like it's getting worse day by day, you see. And obviously sports has been affected like crazy. You see, PTF, Pakistan Tennis Federation, is closed since last 2 months.
Hmm.
And then there's Pakistan Sports Board, 2.5 months. And you
Wow.
see every like all the sports places in Pakistan, they're literally closed. And it's not possible for to open them as well, because the situation here in Pakistan at the moment is crazy, honestly speaking. It's and obviously then every player has been affected badly, me as well. But the thing is that whatever I can do maximum at home, you can say, or alone in a gym, like in like I've got a personal gym here. So whatever I can do, my best to stay fit, until all this comes to an end, and then my tournaments and my training starts again. But obviously it's not easy, but I'm trying to remain fit as much as I can. And I'm trying to, so at least when this pandemic is over and everything comes up like again, so I'm at least fit enough to, start over and, recover as soon as I can. So I'm trying to do whatever I can.
Hmm. That's really good. So, tennis globally has been applauded for its role in pushing pay parity in sports. So, female and males getting equal pays. Why hasn't
Yeah.
Pakistan followed the same?
Yeah, that's a big issue here as well. You
Hmm.
see, when there are national tournaments here, even though they're really less, even nationals here, countable, like in a whole year, most probably they're going to be 30 tournaments maximum here. And even in those tournaments, you see, can you believe it? Like men's prize money is above a lakh here, and
Hmm.
women's is going to be not more than 45,000, 50,000 maximum. It's not even half the prize money of men.
Hmm.
I mean, so basically, what they say is that women don't work as hard as men do. What people in the authorities, or you can say the administration of tennis in Pakistan, what they say that there are not a lot of women here, and they don't have to do the same what men have to do to get to the finals or win the tournaments, and that's honestly not true. You see, there may be less girls playing in Pakistan, but the ones who are training and who are doing it, like I can take my example. Every day to train every day, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours is not easy. You see, to put in hard work every day is not easy. And then I mean, what people say in return, that really that really makes you sad. And it's I don't know why what this happens. They say they say the girls don't do as much hard work as the boys do, and that's totally wrong. And even internationally, you see in grand slams, the prize money for men's and women's grand slam winners is almost the same.
Hmm.
And Pakistan is like, I don't know, it's not even half of it. So it's basically this is what they say: the hard work, they don't do more hard work, or they're not a lot of girls. So if you're not gonna if you don't give the other girls, if you don't tell them, like, they're gonna have the same prize money as men and all. So I think more girls are gonna come up if they know they're gonna get something when they come to play tournaments or anything like that. They can travel from different cities to come and play a tournament. But when they know that if they lose a round or a second round, they won't get enough, like they're going to spend even more coming here than earning. So
Hmm.
how would they come up? So how do you expect girls to come up and play tournaments here when they know that it's of no use to them?
Hmm. That's right. And does it go back again? Goes back? Does it go back to school level? Like, cause from my personal experience, I noticed that a lot of the time there's more push for men's sport even at the school level, whereas female sports are ignored. And do you see
A
that
lo-
actually amplifies when it gets to the adult level?
Actually, you're right. It does happen. If you tell somebody when I started playing, people used to say, look, she's a girl, and they used to say to my dad, like you're making your girls, be in tennis or be in sports or anything, like that, and all this. And they used to, basically first people, they laugh at you when they see you doing it when you were coming up or something like that. They consider, they think it's a joke, and they don't know what it takes to get there. I know even in schools when I used to be like 11, 12 years old, they used to think, she's just, like normal people just playing tennis, and they didn't know that how much hard work it takes to be what you want, what I'm trying to be. So exactly, I think it's a problem in people's mentality here. I feel this is a big problem here. They think again, mentality. And even I think it starts basically from your homes.
Mm,
What your parents tell you, what they teach you, what's, the right and wrongs here are, debatable, a lot debatable in Pakistan. What the society thinks is right, what the society thinks is wrong, for everybody, it's not right like that. It's not supposed to be like this, but unfortunately it is. Girls playing sports here, they people don't like it.
mm,
uh, but I feel it's very respectable to represent your country. What can be more than
absolutely,
this? When
absolutely.
you're holding your Pakistan color, and you're on a final of like an international tournament, or you're winning an international tournament. I mean, I think that's the way you make your country proud, and people need to, I think this mentality needs to be changed.
Hmm. Could, could it also be because there's no actual financial or monetary benefit that they could see? So people aren't really encouraging their daughters or their sisters to actually go into sports?
Money, I think, yes, this can be a reason, like for people, obviously for the people in the middle class people who basically play sports for an earning, maybe, if they, basically, to for the so that, they can have food to eat. And people, like, obviously, yes, they usually play the sports for, to live. Those people, for them, yes, money is really important. But other than this, I think, this concept is in people's mind, like, that daughters shouldn't be in sports. They should study, be doctors, engineers, and all that, stuff. I think that this is still here in Pakistan. I think people still think like that. If you tell people, like, if she's playing sports, she's playing that or that, they consider it, I don't know, they consider it, they say these people are, modern or something like that. They different, I don't know, this mentality is this needs really needs to change, I feel. Because then, there's a point in life when you don't want to listen to people here.
Hmm. Right, right. Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. And I was speaking to a men's player in Pakistan, and he was telling me that basically most of the men's player are basically leading dual lives because they can't pursue tennis full time because obviously they have to pay their bills as well. So they're working full time in the day. They're taking their day offs, annual leaves, and then going on to off to play tournaments. Is it the same in at the women's side as well?
Women's side, as I told you, like, they're hardly like I mean, they may be 30, 40 players, but you say, people who are good players, they may be like 10, 15 maximum in Pakistan. And so basically, from the girl side, usually they're from a good family. You can say, not a middle class, like a bit better than middle class, maybe middle class. But you know for girl side, I don't think it's like that, because in Pakistan, I don't think a middle class family would allow his girl to, be in sport. I don't think it's possible. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, people, a bit people you can say who from a good family or from a higher class, they would prefer their, like, they would allow their girls to play. I think it's not like that for boys. For boys, yes, it is like this in Pakistan. As I said, mostly boys from Pakistan who are in sports are belong to middle class families, and who basically play the sport so that they can pay the bills of their houses, they can have food to eat. So from the boys' side, yes, it is like this. For the girls, no, I don't think so.
Right, right. And I know we've discussed a lot of serious issues and serious topics in tennis,
Yeah.
but I guess it's time to calm the
Yeah.
conversation and just tell us about a time, about a memorable time when you, uh, actually a memorable match in your career that you could recall.
Yeah. So I have I've there are a lot, but two of them, there are two matches which I think I'll never forget in my life. So first one goes, I was around 13. I think I was around 12, 13 years old, and I was playing Junior Federation Cup for Pakistan in Malaysia, and
Okay.
I was playing the semi-finals for Pakistan, and the match was I was playing. If like I would have won it, Pakistan could have been in the finals. And
Hmm.
that match was like I was I was having 6 match points, 6 match points like in that match, and it was a 4 hour match, official time 4 hours, and
Wow.
having like 6 match points, and I just lost that match. And
Wow.
it was like, and that girl was like 3 4 years elder, like 3 years elder to me.
Hmm.
And like, I swear everybody, like all the crowd there was so crazy, and that match is unforgettable. And I cried a lot after losing it, obviously. But that's just, that match is like, just doesn't go out of my mind. And that's just like, 6 match points, having two match points in a row, and you lose that match is just unfortunate.
That's right. So where did
That,
you think that it all went wrong? Was it you were really exhausted that you said it was a very long match, or was it just nerves that were actually getting to
it
you?
was nerves. It was
Yeah.
my mental aspect. You see, I was 12 at that time, and I don't know. I was in a hurry to finish the match when I had those match points and the crucial points. I played. Obviously, then I feel they were nerves. They were just, obviously they were just nerves coming up, and my mental aspect, I think I was not so strong mentally, to take that pressure. After, we had a match point, you lose that match point, and then you have another one, then you lose it, and then you have another one, and then you lose it, and then you think, oh my god, if I have another one, if I lose that as well, what will happen. That just comes up in my mind again and again. So it was definitely my mental aspect.
Right. And if we spin the question and ask you the same question, but then ask you like, what's the most memorable match that you've ever watched in tennis? What match would that be? Between who?
um It was the match. But before this question, I would like to tell you another memorable match for me. That was a
Sure.
positive one.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
basically, this was an ITF, International Tennis Federation ITF tournament. I was playing in Lebanon,
Yep.
and it was my first round there, and it was against a Turkish girl. She was, I think, she was seeded 3 in the tournament, and her ITF ranking was in the top 500s in the world.
Wow.
So I
Mm.
was playing against her, and I lost so basically, I went for 3 tournaments in a row. I was in Jordan first, and there were 2 tournaments there, and those were on the hard courts. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was in Lebanon, and that was on the clay court. So I just had one day to convert from hard to clay, and the match when I was playing that my first round, I wasn't playing so well, and I lost the first set 6-love, 6-0, and the second set I was 5-0 and 40 love down, and that girl had
Wow.
3 match points. And can you believe it? From there, I literally turned the whole match around, and I won the second set 7-5. and that girl had 17 match points. Like 40 love ke baad, she had like 40 love, and then advantage again and again. And I won that set, and I won the final set like 7-5 again. It was 0-6, 7-5, and 7-5. That was a 4.5 hour official time match, and
Wow.
I just can't forget that ever. I mean,
R-
being 6 love and 5 love and 40 love down, and I just won that match. So
m-
that's
Yeah, wow, must have felt great. And what was different this time?
great.
Yeah,
This time I knew that I was supposed to win this match. It was just my mental side again. So basically I got older, I got mentally stronger, you see. So I before the match started, I knew that I would win, because I was before, in those previous two tournaments, I reached the semifinals of the ITFs. I reached the quarterfinals of the ITFs. So I was like, in a good shape, and I was coming up being in the semis and the quarters. So I felt that I could win this tournament, or at least I could make it to the semis again, or even the finals. So I was really pumped up for it. But then, sometimes when you're unable to play your game in the first set, but I still knew till the end that I would win this. And I was like, no, it's going to come. No, it's going to come up. I'm going to come up. I'm going to win this. And my dad outside, so basically my dad travels with me usually, or my coach. So he was sitting outside, and, he being a fighter pilot, he never lost hope ever. So he knew that I would win it. And he was just pumping me up. And I was like, no, I have to win it. I have to win it for my dad now. So I just, pumped up myself, and here it goes. It was just amazing.
I must have. Self-belief is a great thing to have in sport or any other thing. So,
Yeah.
so tell us, if you look at a player who's mentally strong and everything, who's your favorite player from men and women's side
Uh,
both?
from men's side, it's Nadal.
Yeah,
Rafael Nadal. And the reason behind is he's a lefty, and I'm also a lefty. I'm a lefty.
right. I'm a
And
lefty too.
okay. So that's great. So basically, and I feel my game style, because I've been developed on red clay in Barcelona, you see.
Yeah,
So my game style is very much like Nadal. Usually people used to say this is the lady Nadal coming up, you see. So
yeah,
my game style is a lot like Nadal. And I feel, obviously, that's an injury prone, he's very injury prone as well. And me too, like I get injuries a lot as well. But I feel that his mental level, I don't think anybody I've seen anybody other than him so mentally strong in like, I've never seen anybody on the tour like him. He's really strong. You see, he never gets angry. I've never seen him angry on the court. I've never seen him breaking a racket even out of frustration. I've never seen him being frustrated on the court, you see. And it's not easy, to be calm always. Even if you feel like doing something and you control yourself, you're like tolerant enough. So I think that his mental aspect really inspires me, and I really want to be like him in that aspect. He's very strong and he's very calm.
absolutely. They say
Yeah,
the match is never over when Nadal is playing. So yeah, so that no, absolutely. I totally
exactly.
agree with you. What about the female player? Who's your favorite?
Serena Williams, all the time.
Uh, I guessed both. I When you told me about that
Yeah.
mental aspect, I guessed both. So yeah,
Oh,
all right.
really?
So so I
Okay.
think I have a crystal ball, I guess. um. So yeah, just before, no, it was a very great conversation, Maheen. Probably one of my best video
Really,
interviews. I thoroughly enjoyed it,
really.
and I was
Thank
I
you.
was I was so attentive. And again, just before we wrap up as well, because obviously we're short of
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
One last question: like, what would your
yeah.
advice be to aspiring female tennis players in Pakistan, especially the young ones who are coming now? What
No.
what could they do differently? And again, what can they do realistically to achieve more in tennis?
Okay, so firstly, I would honestly want, like, parents, or people in Pakistan to encourage their children to be in any sport. Firstly, I would like them to, be in any sport they like, their children like, even boys or girls, and they need to, break this concept of girls not being in sports. Okay, it's perfectly fine girls being in sports because it's a very respectable, you can say, a career, very respectable career. Okay, there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong in being in sports. It changes you. You become stronger. What else do you want? You be stronger. You're gonna be, you're able to, come across anything what happens in life. Even in personal life, you can take anything. The sports make you so tolerant, so strong as well. Physically, obviously, it makes you strong. Mentally, it makes you strong. It doesn't let you go in, depressions and all. I feel this keeps you going. So let your children choose any sport they like, and please keep them away from mobile phones. Honestly, this is one thing which is breaking our nation, I think. Being on phones, or all this stuff, I feel this is one reason why children don't want to be in sports as well. It's easy to have a phone in your hands and just play games and everything. So I think this culture needs to break, this phone culture, and encourage your children to be in any sport they like. And rackets, I would prefer racket sport a lot because I play it.
Mm-hmm.
But any sport they like. And in tennis, obviously Pakistan is still a developing country. It's coming up, but soon, inshallah, I feel our prime minister, he's a great human being, and I know that within 5 years, 6 years time, I hope he's going to do a lot for sports as well, for tennis or for any other sport. So they should come up. The youngsters should come up. They should choose any sport they like, and tennis. Hopefully, it's gonna get better. We're gonna have a proper, tennis academies here, proper coaching from outside. Foreigner fitness coaches, mental coaches. So I think it's gonna develop really well in future, inshallah. So I think tennis should be a good option for many people in Pakistan.
Right, that's a great advice and great words there. So, again, Maheen, it was very nice talking
Yeah.
to you. We wish you all the best in
Thank
your
you.
career and hope you have many more
Thank you.
victories, many more feats. And
Thank you
again,
so much.
again, good luck. Thanks again for your time. No worries.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk
I
again.
really enjoyed it, honestly.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.